I think probably the time that I felt the most hopeless was actually just a few short 4 years ago. Eric and I had some fertility issues and we were able to get pregnant, so we were super excited. Went in for our 20-week ultrasound, and you have a vision in your mind of what you think it's going to be like. And the tech was taking a little longer than planned, and things just seemed unsettled, and so didn't think much of it. And they came in and said that they thought Dax at the point would have some sort of heart defect, and we just really didn't know what that means. So we got sent off to the high-risk clinic at the university. So within a few short weeks, our world had really changed. We found out at that point not only would he have the heart defect, but that he would have Down syndrome. And so everything that we had planned for and we thought was going to happen kind of went out from under us. And I remember at that point being so mad because we were such goal-oriented and task-driven people that we did everything we were supposed to do, and so we thought that we were being punished, and it was just really hard at that point to get out of that mindset and get out of that grieving process. I think the most overwhelming feeling of it all is because it wasn't in my control. Like I say, everything else in my life, I felt like I had the power to control, and I couldn't control this, and it was the unknown and not what I expected. And so I think that was really the worst part about it. Here we had 20 more weeks of a pregnancy, and we really just didn't know what it was going to entail. And then of course, when you have a child with Down syndrome early on in the kind of the prenatal phase of it, there's always that risk of miscarriage too. And so you just really didn't know what to expect. And I think that was just the most terrifying. And it really put a strain on our relationship. It really created this discomfort in our family too, because it felt like it seemed like we were just waiting for something to break or possibly something bad to happen, and it was just really terrifying looking back. I would tell people I was a Christian, and I thought I was a Christian. I grew up going to church. I was baptized, confirmed, I participated in my youth groups, everything, and I went through those motions, and I thought I was saved and everything was fine. But it wasn't until I think God put me at my most vulnerable moment and really broke me and made me realize that life isn't about what I plan, or the actions that I don't impact everything for the future. And so I think at that breaking point is when I realized I needed a relationship with Jesus, and acknowledging that a relationship with Jesus is different than just a religion. It just wasn't until I reached out to a group of friends that were, I knew I went to church, and realizing that I needed something to pull me out of this, of where I was. And at that point we decided to start just routine, every couple weeks get-togethers, and really helping. They guided me into getting into the scripture and really opening up that relationship with Jesus and what that means and how that can be the most satisfying thing. It was definitely a God's timing thing of bringing Dax into the world, and Dax brought me to Jesus. Dax took me out of just the motions of a religion and thinking I was fine and thinking that I had all the answers, and made me realize that this new normal, and it's okay, and it's a part of what is supposed to be in our lives. And you hear the concept, a child with special needs is such a blessing and things, but for absolute truth that it took Dax's birth, it took the hardships that we've had with him, the medical struggles, the everything to really realize what matters, in the end, what really matters in life. I think my biggest advice for someone who is struggling with hope right now is that it's okay to be uncertain. It's okay to not have all the answers. It's hard when you're swallowed up in the moment to think, oh, this is part of God's bigger plan, but it really is.